If you struggle with male loneliness, right, you don't have any friends, you barely hang around people or something, and you don't have any friends, I'll tell you by the end of this video, I'll be giving you practical steps for you to go out there, have male friends. And having male friends is it's cheaper, it's easier, it's actually way much fun, right, than being in a relationship because I've come to realize that most men, what stops most men from having male friendship is one, business, work, life, even if female, even their female relationship is a problem, right? So the male friendship now, again, why do we really need male friendships? Male friendships, they are kind of like cheaper to maintain, right? They actually help your mental health, right? They give you opportunities in business. Now, I've had different stories, right? So recently, right? I had these two separate friend groups, and let me show you how I like made them benefit each other just because I was present in their lives. Again, it goes past emotional. This is even business wise. I have two friends, right? One's Isaac, one is Pen. Isaac is he's been in media space for about some years. He has equipment quite alright, and his equipment was what I used to shoot my first podcast. Trust me, we go well that way. Again, mind you, I couldn't afford all of those equipment, but he brought everything absolutely free, and he recorded. He was even editing it for free also. That's by the way. So now he has all these equipment, and now Pen wants to get into cinematography, right? But doesn't have anything. But it feels like he feels like he wants to get a drone for some reasons. I don't know why. So he's like, okay, oh, he's like, Stone, I want to get a drone. And you know what? Isaac goes about renting drones. Why don't Isaac go ahead and recommend a drone to us, and then he can also teach you how to fly? Now, Isaac points out that, oh, fine, you should get a particular drone, I think the Maverick 2, and get a small drone that he uses to like test and get good with flying drones. So he comes around, he shows Pen where to get his drones, where to get the best deals, and he even teaches Pen how to fly his drones. Now, Pen, who is also new to cinematography, now uses Isaac's equipment once in a while for paying a fraction of the cost. Isaac rents Pen's drone for a fraction of the cost, and bang, that's how friendships are so beneficial. You see, we heavily underestimate male friendships it's almost like because we don't see the immediate benefit of it as guys, right? But for me, right, one thing I've also noticed is it is through male friendships that I've come around mentors. And one thing I've come to realize is all of my richest mentors, they actively maintain their male friendships. And trust me, I've come to also realize that, bro, these guys, they are profiting from their friendship. Not like in a way where if you don't give me something, I wouldn't help you. Just in a way where everybody on their own provides some form of value to the friendship. Everybody on their own, right? So that's something that you have to realize that as a man, if you really, really want to have male friends, to an extent, you have to what do you call it? You have to provide some form of value. Now, it doesn't have to be money. It could be emotional. It could be connection, like the way I connected these two guys. It could be jovial. You see, because when you're with guys, right? If you get to notice, when you're with guys, you are much more free to banter about anything, right? When we're speaking to guys, people don't really take things that serious, so there are jokes flying left and right. You can kind of open up to some of your guys, right? And they will help you. Trust me. You see, one thing about guys is, as guys, we are happy solving the problems of other people, right? So think about it, right? If I hear you have a problem, right, I may not give you a solution on the spot, but if a solution crosses my mind, trust me, because in the same way this thing happened, right? Somebody is new to cinematography, but he doesn't know what to do, doesn't even know where to start from, doesn't even know what equipment that he needs. Now, down to this guy who has some equipment, but he goes out to rent drones. You see how from nowhere things just kind of like solve themselves again. So the thing is that before we go further, let's look at what stops male friendships, right? Like I said, one is this always overworking, right? I mean, lone wolf mentality. We have guys who get into a relationship, they completely abandon male friendships, right? Because to them they feel like their girlfriends can give them all the emotional needs. Now, having male friends goes beyond emotional needs. It's a logical thing, right? Because you know people who are more relatable, people who will give you ideas. A lot of the times, whenever our guys are going through some shitty relationships, our guys are quick to call them out. They're like, bro, you do realize that she's playing you right. But then again, I've also noticed that ego is a thing that kind of destroys a lot of male relationships where some guys don't want to be ego bros because they're probably doing something stupid. and they don't want the guys to call them out. That's complete BS, right? That is absolute BS. So I'll tell you this, okay, so like I said, what can you do to begin to establish male friendships, right? Male friendships are pretty that simple. You don't have to go out of a ridiculous way to what to meet male friends. If you want to actually meet male friends, I'll tell you first tip is go to places. First of all, you have to leave your house, right? Go to places that you genuinely enjoy and other men hang around. It's not different from going out to meet other friends, right? Go to places where the kind of men you like to meet will be there already. One. Two, don't overthink approaching them. Like, don't over. It's not, you don't even really have to approach people because the last two main guys, the last two interesting guys I have met at the gym, right, were through compliments, right? Okay, were through my vlogging because I vlog in the gym while I work out. And one was like, oh, okay, what are you doing? You're vlogging. And for it, we spoke there for 45 minutes. Our workout time was wasted. Just it was wasted. Then for John, we got to the gym very, very early. We were at the door. I was struck up conversations. And we're talking about politics. And for it, we spoke about different topics, right? Again, male friendships. Now, male friendships don't just end by where they start. It is after the first meetup, what is the next thing, right? It is you have to be intentional about meeting these guys. What that means is, okay, fine, we have met ourselves now. We have swapped our phone numbers. Is there a plan to meet up again? Because friendships rely on intensity. That is how deep is it, right? Frequency, how frequently are you guys saying? How close, right, are you guys? I know I've probably forgotten the last factor, but with all these things in play, right? With all these things in play, and the things you share in common, all these things you see in play, they all come together. So if you see a person, right, that you feel like you like his form, you like his body, walk up to him and compliment him. Don't complicate that shit, right? Right? Don't overcomplicate that shit. Because when you meet people in a place where you go to, you guys have already established what is called a shared interest already. Again, this could even be where you go to watch football. This may even be okay. Stadiums are ridiculously big. So, but here in Nigeria, we have like this viewing centers where people go, where a large number of people go and watch football from the green screens. If you go there frequently, you would have seen some faces much frequently. So again, when you see these faces frequently, it becomes easy to approach these guys, right? Then just like what reach out once in a while. Again, male friendships don't really require that much maintenance. So what I do is I don't have what 10 hours for all of my friends in a week. But one thing for sure is that when I have time for them, is that we go out together. We go out together, or we kind of like just chill together or something, right? We can be on the phone for an hour or two, bouncing off ideas, giving us our stories, our life updates, which is very important because, bro, there's of my guys that I haven't seen face to face for about 2 or 3 years, right? But when we pick up the phone to talk, maybe once in 2 or 3 months, we speak for about 2 hours, 3 hours, and it just feels like we have always been together non-stop. Now, one thing about male friendships now I would like to tell you about is problems. When there's conflict in male relationships, then problems start where somebody wants to feel bigger than the other person. Trust me, if you know how to handle conflicts right in male friendships, you will never have any problem with male friendships. You can never, because trust me, at some point, somebody wants to feel big, somebody wants to feel, or somebody probably even feels inferior. If you can read the room, the temperature in the room, and you know how to diffuse the situation, boom, everybody begins to respect you. Now, I'll say this right. If one thing I've come to realize that's kind of made me on that's kind of helped my new friendship is this. Exactly when you have a squad. One thing that I think I've noticed is what is called a power dynamic, where if you are in a group, you have to accept that you already have shared interests, you have shared beliefs and values, right? So now everybody knows what they are doing in that group. So that means is nobody feels useless in that group. A typical example is when we go out to get a couple of drinks. We know who is paying already. We don't have to say it. When we're in the group and we see some girls, right, on their own, right, I feel like they're having a good time. We know who is going to approach those girls. We know, okay, fine. We know who comes up with the ideas. We know who brings up the location. We just know if shit hits the fan, we know who's going to throw a fist. So it's just like unspoken rules. But the rules are there. And those rules kind of make sure that everybody feels important in that group. So because you pay for the drinks today does not mean that you are above somebody else. Nah, what that means is at that department, in that area, we leave it to you. When it comes to conveying yourself, we already know who and who is going to convey. But bottom point is, if you want to enjoy your male friendships, you have to provide some form of value to your friends. It doesn't have to be financial. It could just be ideas. You're the guy who solves people's problems. You're the guy who thinks for everybody. You're quick. And if you really, really, really look at it, right? No, not you, me. All of my mentors, right? All of my mentors, the most successful mentors that I have, all of them have they have extensive male friends. Not just male friends that they just chat. These guys are coming together almost every weekend, right? They are either in their clubs, in their Rotary clubs. These guys are going back to back, and now it makes sense why they are very rich. It makes sense why they always see opportunities because, bro, they see almost every week, right? Again, these are guys who have worked their asses. They're in their 40s, in their 50s. They're kind of like rich already, and they're the ones who have kind of made me realize that it makes sense to never let go of male friends. That shit makes a lot of sense. So, brother, if even if you get into like a committed relationship or you get married, never ever, never ever neglect your male friends. This is coming from after what I've observed from this my rich mentors, right? They never joke with their male friends. They even some of them go on walks again, walk with their male friends. So think about it, right? All the male friendships they need to have something like a shared activity, not just shared interest, a shared activity. It could be watching football. When I go to some of my guys' house, we watch football. Even though I don't really watch football, we watch UFC fights. While they're watching their football, I'll probably text on my phone or we're probably bantering it. I really hope the ideas in this video served you because one hill I'm ready to die on is the fact that as a man, to fix your mental health problems, to become more confident, to become more jovial, you need to have more male friends in your life. My name is Ton Oraye. If any of this video, or if any of the ideas in this video rather hit you, I want you to please share with somebody who you know will find it very, very helpful. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. And bye for now, brother.